Okay, welcome to Women, Hormones, and Natural Solutions. My name is Vanessa Carlson. I am a physical therapist, and I'm also the owner of Lady Super Fitness here in North Canton. As we begin, it's okay to definitely grab a pen, paper, or book, something to jot down notes if you are a note taker like myself. You do not have to. This is the shortened, abridged version from the class we had on our Ladies' Night for those of you that couldn't make it. For those of you that have the Natural Solutions packet, make sure you have page 7 of that packet easy to access or turn to. This is going to be our guide for our presentation as we mentioned various things, because not only are we going to learn, but we're also going to apply what we learn and how to implement them in our daily life. If you have peppermint oil, definitely grab that now. Take a nice deep breath. As you're breathing in, repeat after me. I am energized, I am focused, and I am capable of learning new things. Again, I am energized, I am focused, and I am capable of learning new things. Repeat those 3 things as you breathe in that peppermint oil. You can even wipe it behind your neck to cool you off and to continue to breathe in that wonderful aroma as we are learning. Okay, so from here, today we are focusing on the endocrine system and the various structures that make up the endocrine system. There's about 10. We also have the exocrine system that also secretes and releases hormones throughout our body. But today's focus, as I mentioned on this left side, we're going to focus on the endocrine system, in particular, our adrenal glands. So why are we even doing this, right? As I was doing my research, I almost felt like I was opening Pandora's box and there was so much to learn. But you know what? We just have to get started. We have to start digging. So please, envision a shovel next to you. Grab that shovel and prepare to dig, because we are able to learn this together and help each other. I was inspired by last year's presentation by our very own friend and wellness advocate, doTERRA wellness advocate, Brenda Scons. She did a beautiful job on hormones, and there was a lot of information. So this time we're going to dissect it a little bit and break it into 4 parts. Also, the experiences with my own mom going through changes right now in her own personal life hormonally, and also from my grandmothers that had experienced various medical challenges. My mom's mom passed, unfortunately, of breast cancer, and my dad's mom passed of Alzheimer's disease. And just the love and the strength of both women and the things they endured has really pushed me and inspired me and motivated me to just learn more about our bodies. Our anatomy is just amazing. We are uniquely, wonderfully, beautifully made. It's so mysterious how God created us. And I think there's a lot that we can do to better take care of ourselves. The modern approach, which we're going to discuss, and you'll also see that on your Natural Solutions handout, is that reactive approach, right? And there's nothing wrong with the modern approach, but it doesn't get to the root cause of things. So, and again, for instance, I had surgery a couple of years ago, emergency surgery, and I wanted that doctor to, do surgery on me to save my life. If I fracture something, heaven forbid, or something happens, I want that doctor. But today we're focusing more on the natural approach and what we can do for ourselves for preventative. As a physical therapist, I learned working in the hospitals, the acute care settings, skilled nursing facilities, outpatient, as well as industrial. A lot of what's going on, the comorbidities people are experiencing, not all, but a lot, can be prevented. And that's where my passion and drive comes from, to teach, to explain, to motivate, inspire, and help people learn more about their bodies, have that mind shift for their overall health and well-being. So again, our focus is the natural approach. Medication, for those of you that do not know, cannot permeate the cell membrane and can't get to the root cause. But some of the things that we're going to discuss today: food, habits, these awesome essential oils by doTERRA, which are the top of the line. They're the certified pure therapeutic grade. Get to the root cause. These oils can permeate the cell membrane. Your body does recognize it, but it's not just using the oils. It's the different habits to implement to help your overall well-being. And I believe, again, that we could all help each other. And also, not only have I been inspired by our friend Brenda, my own family, but also our members. We've been here just over 2.5 years, and I'm just so blessed that the ladies and the members here share their stories, their victories, their concerns, and they are the reason why I'm doing this presentation today. Okay, so the purpose is to bring awareness to our bodies and increase understanding for a new dimension of empowerment. Again, guys, give yourself some grace. You do the best with what you know, and when you know more, you do better. We're going to go over some general anatomy. We're also going to focus on the adrenal gland and adrenal fatigue. Okay, right now, grab that pen and paper. Pick 3 things you want to change for yourself. Okay, you don't have to share it with anyone. But for instance, you want to feel more, fill in that blank, more rested, more strong, more healthy. What do you want to feel more of? Take a moment and write that down. Or what do you want to feel less of? Less anxious, less stressed. Maybe you want to feel more confident, more focused, and less blank. And right now, I feel ... So, for example, about a year and a half ago, this was mine. I wanted to feel less stressed and overwhelmed, more happy and healthy. And I believe this is important to kind of see what season of life are you in right now. You know, I work with ladies. Some are new moms. Some are empty nesters. Some are, beginning their career. Some are business owners. Some are widowed. So everyone is in a different season of life, but we're all heading in the same direction, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But understanding where you are will also help us with the what and how. What is it that we need? How are we going to apply it? Okay. So we're also today going to decide how to implement these changes. So it's not good enough just to sit here and be a sponge, right? How can we apply these at home, maybe on the road if you're a commuter, different parts of the day, and also how to get our hands on these natural solutions. Okay, so again, we're talking about the endocrine system. Knowledge without action is meaningless, okay? And we're creating a positive feedback loop. So here at the gym, we talk about, it's not just exercise, right? Exercise is not going to do it all. It is having rest, water, eating well, exercise, accountability, support, and keeping that positive wheel going. The only lasting failure, okay, the only lasting failure is the failure to act, okay? All right, so just a quick overview of what we're going to discuss today: the endocrine system, hormones, general anatomy, adrenal glands, adrenal fatigue, a plan of action. And here we talk about mind, body, and spirit, habits, using natural solutions, affirmation, and anchoring. Okay, so let's just go over what the endocrine system actually is. It's made up of various glands that secrete hormones. Okay, so there's a hormonal component. There's about 10 structures. We have our pineal gland that deals with our melatonin. We have our hypothalamus, which you're going to hear a lot today. Think of the hypothalamus as the control center, okay? The pituitary gland, which is the master gland, and the hypothalamus and pituitary gland talk a lot to each other. The hypothalamus will secrete a hormone, which will talk to the pituitary gland, which will secrete a hormone, which will talk to another gland, which will secrete another hormone. So there's a lot going on. You also have your thyroid, your parathyroid, your thymus gland, your pancreas, your adrenals, which is what we're going to talk about today. You also have your ovaries, your testes. And then here, there are about 5 general functions of the glands. When you're a baby, the endocrine glands are differentiating between your central nervous system and your reproductive system. And as you're growing older, from an infant to a toddler to a child to an adolescent, there's a sequential growth of things, right? For the most part, we're not having our cycle at 5 years old. There is a natural order, and that's when the endocrine system plays in. Then you have also the functions of our reproductive organs. And then there's also that fight or flight, right? Where our body responds to keep us safe and also to adapt to the environment when it needs to. The endocrine system also works with our nervous system. Yes, our focus is going to be on the endocrine system, but you can't focus on that without also mentioning the nervous system. There's other systems as well. The nervous system, they work together to control and integrate body functions to maintain homeostasis in our body, an optimal living environment in our body. Our body is constantly trying to come back to homeostasis, which also means not only do we have a hormonal control, but also a neural control. Both systems meet at the hypothalamic pituitary interface. The hypothalamus, again, controls the function of the endocrine system by way of neural and hormonal, so nerve and hormonal pathways. And then we also have our negative feedback system, which also helps to regulate the endocrine system. So there's a simple way and there's a complex way. The simple way, to give you an example, is that maybe our calcium levels or too low or too high. The parathyroid is going to be stimulated, and there are hormones that are going to be released to get that calcium level back to where we need it to be. So if something's low, hormones are released to bring it high. If something's high, hormones are released to bring it low. That's the simple. There's also the complex, when there's something outside in the environment, emotional or physically, that's happening, that our body will respond. Our brain, our hypothalamus is engaged, talks to the pituitary, which will talk to other organs or the other glands to secrete hormones to respond to that stress, right? And then when those hormones, like the cortisol hormone, is being released, our body will then respond to get us back to normality, or back to homeostasis. So that's more of the complex negative feedback system, just to kind of give you an idea. Okay, so hormones. What are hormones? We talk about hormones, we hear about them, we're women. For those of you that are watching this that are women, they are chemical messengers. Think about that, messengers that are transported in our bloodstream to the cells and organs. So we're talking about the cellular level. So if you think about your bodies, we're more than just muscle and fat. I know at the gym we talk about muscle and fat a lot, but we are more than just that. We have systems that are running without us even thinking. Our digestive system, our cardiac system, respiratory system, they are all functioning and helping each other so that we can stay alive, right? Isn't that amazing? It's mind-blowing if you really think about it. But we're talking about the cellular level, so we want to get to the root. And they also have a specific regulatory effect. So keywords are they send us messages and they regulate. So if you're like me and you like to dissect, what does regulate mean? And also, do I listen to the messages that my body is sending me? Or do I get upset? Do I complain about it? Do I push myself beyond limits than what I'm supposed to, right? Here's a quote by Dr. Caroline Leaf, and if you do not follow her, she is amazing. She is a neuroscientist. She has spoken in our area before. I read her book, Think and Eat Smart, which is amazing. She has a phenomenal blog. She says, an undisciplined mind is filled with worries, fears, and distorted perceptions. These lead to a degeneration of mind and body. Degeneration of your mind, death of your mind and body, okay? So again, our hormones are sending us messages, and they also regulate our body. So to regulate is to control, to maintain the rate or speed of a process so that it operates properly. To control, adjust, manage, modulate. Okay, general anatomy. So again, some of the pineal gland that we mentioned, the pituitary gland, the thyroid, the thymus, the adrenal glands, which is going to be our focus today. So they sit right on top of our kidneys, pancreas, ovaries, and for our men out there, our testes. And again, I like this picture. I like the colors. It really helps me to learn. So this is the thalamus inside our brain, and right below it, hence the word hypothalamus, and then look at that pituitary gland. So these structures, guys, are small, but they are mighty. Do not be fooled. And our brain. So if you look at our brain a little bit closer, it's also considered the limbic system, the brain of emotion. So this is where our motivation, our memory, our emotion, our stress, our ability, our arousal. This is that area here. And what's unique, what's important to consider or understand is that our sense of smell has a direct effect to our brain, to our limbic system. Our sense of smell is the strongest sensory organ that we have, which is crazy. I did not know that. And I did not know that it has a direct effect to our mood, to our emotions, to our stress. Okay, which is really important to know and inspiring that we have some control over things. So our limbic system works closely with the endocrine system to regulate hormones. It partners with the autonomic nervous system, which goes into our fight or flight, heart rate, body temperature, and GI functioning. All right, moving on. So now we're going to talk about the adrenal glands here. So they're located, as you saw, on the upper part of the kidneys, and they each adrenal gland has two parts, the outer cortex and the inner medulla. So the outer cortex secretes the mineral corticoids, I always have trouble saying these words, which are steroid hormones that regulate fluid and mineral balance. The outer cortex also secretes the corticoids, which are steroid hormones that control the metabolism of glucose. And the outer cortex also secretes androgens, which are sex hormones. Okay, that's the outer. Now, the inner medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine, which affects the nervous system, the heart, vascular tone, and can also affect our glucose metabolism. So definitely, our adrenals play a very important role in our body functioning. Together, they are major factors in our body's response to stress, okay? So again, just that negative feedback loop with our negative feedback system that acts on our endocrine system. The hypothalamus releases a releasing factor hormone, which talks to the parts of the pituitary gland, which releases another hormone, which will talk to the adrenal cortex, which will release cortisol. And as that cortisol is released to respond to the stress in the environment, our pituitary gland will be notified again, which will be notifying the hypothalamus to bring the cortisol level back down, just to kind of give you an idea. So again, our adrenal glands regulate blood sugar, brain alertness, stress adaptation, so that fight or flight, sex hormones, sex drive. They monitor, moderate mineral balance and inflammation. So a nice little picture here of where the adrenal glands are on top of the kidneys, near our aorta and inferior vena cava. Again, epinephrine, which is also known as our adrenaline, jumps the body into action to protect from potential stressors, releasing energy into the fight or flight response. I'm sure you guys have experienced it at least once in your life. Our bodies also trigger the adrenals to produce norepinephrine, making the body momentarily stronger, more alert, and full of energy. So, okay, so now just we had a little background on adrenal glands and what they do and how they respond or help our bodies during moments of stress, right? So what is adrenal fatigue? So adrenal fatigue is a decrease in the adrenal glands' ability to produce a variety of hormones that are essential for life because of chronic stress. Okay, so think about the stressors we have in our environment. Some are good stressors. But think about where our life is now in terms of this 21st century versus the prehistoric age, right? We can become stressed just by turning on the TV and learning about something that we're like, oh no, we don't have that. Oh, we need that. Oh, I'm lacking, or I'm behind. Or maybe you turn on social media and you start comparing yourself to someone else and you feel like, oh no, what am I doing with my life? Or maybe you're in a season of life and transition and you have work and home and there's just a lot going on. So with that chronic stress on our bodies, we're constantly in that fight or flight moment where our cortisol levels are high and our normal estrogen levels could be possibly high as well. So we're living in an area where at least 80% of the population, 80% are experiencing adrenal fatigue at least one time or another, where there is episodic acute stress. Our bodies are on guard all the time. And can you just think about that? And of course that can be a problem. Our body can take but so much, right? So common symptoms of adrenal fatigue, high cortisol levels, low energy, energy loss, chronic stress, difficulty sleeping, being really alert all of a sudden when you're trying to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, inflammation, blood sugar issues. What else do we have here? So the chronic stress is wreaking havoc on our hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, route, if you will. There's just a lot going on. So low energy, trouble sleeping, weight gain, and you don't understand why are you gaining weight, mood swings, depression, anxiety, brain fog, and if left untreated can lead to autoimmune diseases. Okay, so guys, I know we're talking about stress and chronic stress. It can be a little daunting, but there is hope. Okay, so we're going to talk about some plans of actions. Remember, our body is uniquely, wonderfully, and beautifully made, and it has the ability to heal itself. We just got to create that environment. So we're going to go over some habits, affirmations, and anchoring. Okay, so just to talk about some natural solutions here. This slide came up a little bit different. But so on this far left, less of or none of. Guys, that caffeine. I'm not going to tell you how much caffeine to drink, but if you're drinking 3 cups a day, maybe you can back it down to 1 or 2. Or if you're drinking, if you feel like you have to have that cup of coffee, maybe you can do a half caffeine, half decaf. Sugar intake. Now, I'm not talking about blueberries and apples. I'm talking about that refined processed sugar that is almost in everything that's boxed or wrapped. There's a lot of things that have added sugar, and if they don't have added sugar, they have added artificial flavoring, colorings, and preservatives that our bodies cannot recognize. Foods that increase inflammation, again, processed fast foods. So we're talking about that chronic stress, that woman that is on the go, in school, at work, has kids, married, going to the drive-thru, driving with her knee, talking on the phone, and just trying to make it happen, right? So right now, if you have that pen and paper, list all of the stressors right now in your life. And it's not to complain. Is it your home life? Is it school? Is it a financial thing? Is there changes medically? Is it all the above? Are you trying to get pregnant? Are you a new mom? Are you an empty nester? And as we list those things, just take a moment now and you can continue to list. It is good to be aware, to have a deeper level of understanding. Now, next to that, you should have at least 3 things. Okay, at least. There's probably more. But is that stressor, can it be changed? If it can be changed, right, change. If it cannot be changed, right, unchanged. And if you cannot change it, how will you cope with it? So if it can be changed, the next step is, what am I going to do to change it? And if it cannot be changed, how am I going to cope? What are going to be my mechanisms of coping with this stress? Okay? All right, so we made a list of getting rid of or minimizing or reducing. Even if we reduce our stress level 25% or 50%, okay? It's not going to be perfect, but again, perfection will keep you paralyzed. Let's just shoot for little areas of progress. Now, let's talk about food. You know I was going to mention food, but what about blackberries? Okay, the Chinese medicine, there's a lot of antioxidant, blackberries, blueberries, dark leafy vegetables, chard, kale, spinach. And we're looking for, guys, adaptogens. Adaptogens help your body to adapt and respond well to the stresses in the environment. There are a lot of things that we breathe in, that we consume, that we really, some of it we can't help, but the adaptogens help fight off those free radicals. Adaptogens, phytonutrients, and superfoods. Looking for areas of putting that, consuming that to help your body fight off the stressors. Do you journal? I had surgery and a traumatic event moving here to Ohio, and I didn't realize this, but I stopped journaling. It wasn't until I was talking with the physical therapist who was treating me, and it hit me, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I stopped. And that was my way of releasing emotions, releasing concerns during prayer. Really, writing down scripture to hold on to. In the Bible it says renewing your mind. You may have certain personalities and you may have certain things that you do because it's who you are, but we have the ability, and even Dr. Caroline Neese, who is a neuroscientist, will agree, we have the ability to change how our brain is being made, the protein bodies, whether they're positive or negative, whether they're degenerating and decaying or they're being brought to life. Okay, so can you journal? What do your sleep habits look like? Are you sleeping? And if you're not, and if you're having trouble, this should definitely be a goal for us to attack, because sleep is so crucial. Are you exercising? Are you getting at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity? And if not, we can definitely help you with that as well. Massage. When you get a massage, it releases dopamine and serotonin, which helps you to relax your mind and body, to relax. I don't know about you, but I definitely need that too. And practicing the pause. For me as a business owner, there are moments where I have, whether even I'm in the commode, I run to my car, or even the office and I close it for a moment, but practicing the pause, using aromatic compounds, we're going to get to that in a second, to help my mind anchor and not get caught up with emotion. And if you're able to get outside, get that sunshine, fresh air, it is so rejuvenating to your mind and body. So these are just some ways to, again, minimize those stressors to help our bodies bring them back to homeostasis without being in that episodic or being in that constant on guard stress level. Some natural solutions. So one of the things I tell people, supplements should only supply what you are not getting. So I have come to learn a couple years ago, we were newly business owners, I tracked my meals for about 9 months straight, and I was not, no matter what I did, I wasn't getting enough nutrients in my diet. Even though I learned my portion control and I had lost weight, there were some things I just needed help. And I know that every decade my body's going to change, and I'm really trying to create an environment where I can start a family. So even if you're not like me, your bodies will change. You ever hear people when they say, when I turn 40 or when I turn 30, it's not just them, it's everyone. Our body, no one here is getting any younger, right? So giving yourself those supplements to supply what you're not getting. So here we're going to talk about multivitamins. They should be whole foods, okay? The omegas, we need that DHA to help combat stress, and the alpha CRS. So these three are part of the lifelong vitality pack that we get through doTERRA. They're high quality. We be very, very careful of just going to the store and buying supplements. A lot of the supplements out there are not filled with what the things they say they are filled with. So again, these are high quality. The multivitamin here, whole foods. This is going to give you all your EPA, DHA, in terms of your fish oil, your omegas, and the alpha CRX for the cellular health, the adaptogens, the phytonutrients we mentioned, and also probiotic. Again, when your body is in that constant stress, it's going to affect your gut. So giving yourself those probiotics so that your body can have that good and bad bacteria that it needs to absorb and do what it needs to do. In terms of sleep, there are certain aromatic compounds that really help with calming your system. Lavender, Serenity Blend, which is a blend of oils of lavender and Roman chamomile and other oils. Ylang Ylang, which is one of my favorites, as well as vetiver, just gives me that calming, grounding effect. And again, it's not to knock you out, right? But your body is able to recognize these compounds, use them at the cellular level so that you can calm your system. In terms of exercise, sometimes you're just not motivated or you're tired, right? You have a lot going on. But again, using aromatic compounds. At our gym, we keep peppermint at the front so that our ladies can smell it before they even get in their workout. Or there's also a blend that a lot of ladies use, a roller that's called Motivate, and they use that as they're coming to the gym to get them motivated. Literally, there's something about it that really gets their brain going. Again, remember that limbic system we talked about to prepare them for their exercise. Now, in terms of the adrenal fatigue, if you feel like you're experiencing adrenal fatigue, one of the things that I have learned through our essentials, our doTERRA essentials learning journey, if you will, but rosemary and basil, geranium, and ylang ylang are the go-tos for combating adrenal fatigue. And you can put them with a carrier oil like vitamin E or jojoba or coconut oil, and you can actually put it on your adrenals or on the feet, the reflex points of your feet, and they have helped me immensely. And I share that because the adrenal fatigue was something I was combating last year. You can put them aromatically, diffuse them in the diffuser, topically, as I mentioned, and because these are such high quality compound oils through doTERRA, there's nothing like them on the market. You can also take them internally. And then here, remember we talked about the practicing to pause, and I already mentioned it, but anchoring. And we're going to go over anchoring a little bit more, where we are conditioning our brain and putting ourselves in the state of mind that we want to be in. And then for those of you that live in Ohio, like me, and there's not much sunshine, citrus oils are amazing. I love the Citrus Bliss blend. They are mood modulators and very, very uplifting. So again, we talked about rosemary, basil, ylang ylang, geranium, and then also the lifelong vitality pack that me and my husband do take. Okay, so the mind and affirmations anchoring. Let's dig a little bit deeper. So a couple of things. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and prove what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So the habit that I created was in the morning to get up a little bit earlier, to have that quiet time to read. Whereas before, I would get up and boom, I was off to the races, right? I'm an activator. I like to get things done. I enjoy what I do. I'm very passionate about it. But I have found what a difference it is when I have that quiet time with my journal, my Bible, the diffuser. I use peppermint in the morning to help wake me up because I've cut back on my coffee. Our emotions are the product of our thought life. And that is not my quote. That is Dr. Charles Stanley in his book, Emotions, Confront the Lies and Conquer the Truth. So we're going to talk about affirmations. If you don't already know, affirmations are specific words you speak out loud to yourself to create specific results. Anchoring, which is a powerful technique for controlling your thoughts and emotions. As you anchor, you choose your state of mind. You can draw upon your strengths at will, allowing yourself to be the best in the moments that matter. Whereas at work, maybe it's with your husband, maybe you're on a date, maybe it's with your kids, maybe it's during the time that you're teaching them. So I know some of you moms are homeschool at home. Classical conditioning means an association can trigger a response without conscious choice. Again, for those of you that have never heard of the story, I learned this in school during psychology class, but there was a guy named Ivan Pavlov, and he realized that when there were dogs that before they were about to eat, when the food was coming, they would begin to salivate, right? They would salivate prior to consuming food. So he started ringing a bell when the food was being given to the dogs. He did it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then over time, the dogs would salivate with him ringing the bell without the food there. Sometimes the food would be there, sometimes not. And so the dogs were conditioned to respond to the bell without a conscious choice. So they began to respond to the bell without a conscious choice. And that's what we're talking about for ourselves. So let's just go over some affirmations, and I wrote some down here. I love and respect myself. I am strong in mind and body. And even when I wrote this, I did not feel strong. I had a cold and I'm still getting over it. But I am strong in mind and body. Wealth is constantly flowing into my life. Am I where I want to be financially? Not yet. But wealth is constantly flowing into my life. Attracting success feels easy and natural to me. Are things hard? Are things challenging? Oh, yes, they are. But attracting success feels easy and natural to me. Now go ahead and write 3 of your own. And just so you know that I'm not off my rocker, experts have found that loving words help heal and rewire emotional and physical pain. So there's research behind this. So again, we're coming up with at least 3 affirmations. Okay, so now moving on to anchoring. So I have used, and I pass these around in the class, I have learned that I have 5 strengths. Using the Cliff Finder's strength assessment, I'm an activator, a learner, belief, significance, ideation, and attached to each strength, I use a scent. I use eucalyptus for activator, rosemary for when I'm in my learning mode. For instance, when I was putting this presentation together, I have strong morals and convictions, and I use Roman chamomile. Significance, especially right before I speak in public or before I give a presentation, I use cinnamon. In terms of significance, I want to make an impact and change the world, help change people's lives. And I have the gift of ideation, where I can take 2 totally different things, transparent things, and come up with great ideas. Are they always appropriate? No, but I love ideas. I love quotes. I love images. And I use citrus oils. I started with tangerine, but now I've been going more with citrus bliss. So aromatic anchoring are certain smells. We know that certain smells can trigger powerful memories or emotions without our will or conscious thought. I'm sure you can give a testimony or an example of when a certain smell brought you back to maybe a boyfriend or time with your family or a favorite memory in school, or maybe a not so favorite memory. Choosing to anchor a scent to a mind state, we become intentional, okay? We take charge of our productivity, our success, and our health. Operating in a state of mind that is pleasurable. So we are choosing our thoughts, our state of mind, and we're using these aromatic compounds, these scents, to do so. Our olfactory bulb is directly, we already mentioned this, connected to our limbic system. Okay, so let's go over habits. So now that we have brought awareness to our bodies, we've learned something today about our adrenal glands, adrenal fatigue, our brains, our endocrine system. What are 3 things, we're doing the power of 3 today, okay? What are 3 things you have learned? Go ahead and jot them down. And after you write down the 3 things you've learned today, what are 3 things you are going to change? There are 3 things today. You're not going to leave this or turn this off without changing 3 things. Okay, and then how to implement them. And that's where we come in. We love coaching and helping people. We coach people online. We coach people in our gym. This is just who we are. This is our passion. We couldn't run away from it if we tried. We love it. But how to implement these changes, maybe at home, work, if you travel a lot on the road, or even break it down morning, noon, and night. 3, how to implement these changes in 3 ways. Okay, so now what? Okay, we got all this. So the essential oils, we're using them for our health and our wellness. we're using these scents for anchoring, just to recap. And you can purchase these. If you have your Natural Solutions handout, you can purchase them through us. You can either buy them retail when you pay full price, or what many people do is use the wholesale membership. doTERRA has an amazing wholesale membership. So if you ever had a BJ's or Costco or Sam's, very similar, where you get 25% off anything you buy, and you can get that wholesale membership one or two ways. You can pay $35 once for the year, and you get 25% off whatever you decide to buy. Or you can buy a kit, and the kits have various oils, and there are various packages that you can buy to fit your health and wellness journey as well as your budget. And again, if you buy the kit, that $35 fee is waived, and you get 25% off anything you buy. And then also, as a wholesale membership, you can also enroll in the loyalty rewards program where you accrue points and you can buy free oils. So again, using it for your health and wellness, anchoring. You can buy them retail or wholesale, and join our accountability, coaching, and support group. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this was helpful and beneficial. Our next part 2, women hormones and natural solutions, will be March 21st, which is a Thursday evening at 7 p.m. at Lady Super Fitness. Just a fun picture of me and my husband. This was taken a few years ago. We did a Battle of the Sexes challenge online, helping other couples with their health and wellness. And just to leave you with this, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones that you did. I hope you guys have a blessed evening. I can't wait to hear from you and work with you. Take care.